Hey, Don. Hey, Philip. Listen, I want to do this quick video for you so that you can learn a little bit more about the OSHAlog software. What this is going to be able to allow you to do is to seamlessly and easily do the first report of injury for workers' comp, and also at the same time do the 301 OSHA incident log that is required really within 7 hours of any type of employee injury. So just real quick, I'm going to review some of the OSHA record keeping rules just so that you're familiar of them before we go into the software. So OSHA requires that you must follow the OSHA record keeping, the serious record keeping rules. And really what this means is that if you have a fatality, as an example, you must contact OSHA within 8 hours of that fatality, or there could be huge, huge fines. Let's hope that that won't happen. But because you're on a roof, we wanted you to make sure, and this is one of those things that an owner down in Alta Vista failed to do after a employee got injured or sucked into a very large machine. As you can imagine, very emotional, very tragic, very alarming, and the owner just did not contact OSHA, and OSHA came in and walloped him with a huge fine. And usually these fines you just can't get out of. So we want to make sure that you're aware of these. Also, if a employee is hospitalized, then you have to notify OSHA within 24 hours. You also have to notify OSHA if there is an amputation, if there is a loss of eye. Again, any kind of hospitalization over 8 hours, you're going to have to notify, meaning you're going to have to call OSHA to let them know that that event has taken place. Just to let you know, there's a lot of information on OSHA's website. You can see the 1904 standard, the record keeping standard here that goes into great detail of what your obligations are. As an example, you've got to post that annual summary at least once a year starting February 1st, and it's got to be up until April 30th. And that's what this software is going to help you do. But there's also a lot of resources on the OSHA website, all kinds of videos, all kinds of information. You can actually get the forms, 301 incident log, the 300 log, and then the 300A summary log. Now you can do that. You can do it manually, but it's a little it's a little administratively burdensome, and we really don't want to do that. So I'm going to take you over to the software, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and forth between Perimeter and the Midstate Group. Because the Midstate Group, I've got some examples in there, some fictitious claims to show you how this system works. But when you guys log in, you should have already received a invite. Check your spam. If it's not in there, let me know and I'll resend it. But this is what you're going to see when you log in. You're going to get your own kind of employer dashboard here, giving your information. And you're going to have your location. We're going to have your NAICS code for roofing. And your location. And then when we go into the main office area, you're going to have two logs that I have created. And again, you're going to actually see a bunch of tabs here at the top, but you're going to see locations, and you'll have only one right now. Now, if you expand and you have a location at the beach, Chesapeake area, you maybe go down to North Carolina, any location that you have, you would need to post this information on the site so that when you actually do the posting of the 300A summary log, you have to post their summary log per location at that location. If you have an intranet, then you can also post it on your intranet. I actually have a company, a contractor that's national and in Canada, and they just do it through email since they don't have an intranet or locations in the various states that they're in. We're going to have your workers' comp policy or information already in here. So you'll see your accident fund information. I've also put treatment facilities in this area because under Virginia state law, you can have a panel of physicians that your employees must see in non-emergency situations. And you would want this to make sure that employees just can't go to any doctor they want. They can't go to their best friend, Bob, who's going to put them out of work for 6 months when really a true physician who's understanding work-related injuries is going going to put you on light duty and get you back to work as quickly as possible, not because they're your best friend, because that's what's needed. So we've got a lot of these different facilities already in here that I put in. And then we're going to have another area that we'll get to later, summary reports. Now, because the fact that you don't have more than 20 employees, you're not going to have to report this information directly to the information. You do have to follow that serious injury rule I mentioned initially. Because you have 11 or more employees, you are going to have to follow the record keeping laws. And so you're going to have to do the 300 log. You're going to have to do the 301 incident. You're going to have to do the posting. What you don't have to do are these areas here. Because you're not 20 yet, you don't have to send the data to the government. Now it's 20 or more in a specific industry. And because you're a roofer, that industry automatically, because you're 20 or more, or once you get to 20 or more, you would have to send that data directly to the government. If you get to be 250, then there's more requirements that you're going to have to fulfill. So I'm going to go back to locations for you. Within your main location on Edgewood, we're going to have some logs that we can view. And I've set up two different logs, one for 2023 and then another for this year, 2024. Now, this is where I'm going to go into Midstate real quick because you don't have any incidents already reported. So if you see my screen now, I'm going into the 2023 year for Midstate, and you're going to see instantly that I've got two recordables. Now, you can track non-recordables. We're going to go into what is a recordable here in just a minute per OSHA, but OSHA does like when an owner or a company tracks non-recordables. This is near misses. This is medical only. And you would track that because you would want to see how many incidents you're having so that you can develop before something major happens, a recordable, hey, someone has to go to the hospital, but hey, if we had a couple near misses, we had a couple of injuries, but they just needed medical first aid, nothing serious, no medical attention, but we want to track those. There is a bunch of statistics around how many near misses leads to a fatality. So tracking that from an OSHA standpoint, compliance standpoint is always a good thing, but it's not required. So I'm going to go in and we're going to look at the incidents that I put in that are fictitious. I've got Michelle Davis, I've got myself, and when you put in a new incident by clicking on this add incident button, and we're going to do this in your own portal here in just a second, but when you do enter it in, after entering all that information in, you're going to see all of that here. A description of what happened, where it happened, what type of injury or illness was it, what area was it occurred. And then we're also going to have the ability, after we fill out the 301 OSHA incident log, we're going to then be able to do a first report of injury for workers' comp. There's going to be also a green button at the bottom that's going to now allow you to put in that first report of injury for workers' comp. Now on my screen, I'm going to have that fictitious 301 incident report that I filled in for myself. It's going to have my information. It's going to have the doctor's office that I went to. It's going to have, what happened, how it happened, etc., and the date that it occurred. Now, my first report of injury would be that next option that pops up on that portal, and all of the information that I put in would then complete this form here, all in one portal. And so going back again, all you'd have to do up here is add an incident. So let's go back to your portal real quick. And so you'll see we've got one for 2024. I'm going to go into the incidents area, view incidents. We're going to see that there's none for you, but all we'd have to do is add here. And it's going to bring up a screen that allows you to put information in. It's going to start with, hey, is this recordable or is it non-recordable? What we've done is made this easy. We've got a couple of information pieces in a wizard for you to kind of get more information to determine if it truly is recordable or if it's not. But this wizard also makes it very, very simple for you to go through and determine, did this person experience an illness or injury? Yes. Is this person a contracted worker? You do have those. Well, we'll put a yes for right now. Are you responsible for the daily supervision of this person? So remember, you've got a bunch of 1099s. Well, are you responsible for the daily supervision of these people? If yes, then you would put yes. Is this a injury or illness? Is it work related? We're going to say yes on this one. Is this injury a new case? If it's already an existing case, you've already put it in, but you need to update it. Just go into that existing case and update the information. Only new cases you do here. Did the employee have a needle stick injury? Well, we're going to say no. That's usually for my medical providers. Was the employee medically removed under medical surveillance requirements of any OSHA standard? We're going to say no to that. And then it's going to give you a couple options here. Hey, was there a death? Was there days away from work? Was a significant injury or illness diagnosed by a physician? We're going to say yes to that. And then we're going to say, based on this, it's recordable. Remember, anytime you see a physician, it's always recordable. Always. So just record it. And listen, there is nothing that can ever go wrong if you over-report and you put something on the form that shouldn't have been on there. But you can get a fine and penalty if you don't put an incident in. So remember, more, it does not harm you, but if you don't put something in, you can get a fine. And what you're going to notice here is we can choose from already existing employees. Dawn, if you give me a spreadsheet of your employees, first name, last name, position. You can see all the cells here, and I'll give you a spreadsheet of how to populate that. But if you give me a spreadsheet of all of your employees right now, this will already be in the system for you to do this drop-down box and choose an employee. So I'm going to choose you for now. It's going to automatically put your information in that I have. You can put in hire date, birthday date, gender. Now, you don't have to put this information in. It doesn't have a red asterisk. It's not required, but the more information, the better, since we're sending this off to the insurance company as well. This is where you'd want to put a good description in of all of this information, of where it occurred, description of illness. It's going to ask you again if this was needle stick. If it's private, if there's some information or if there's some details around the accident that are really sensitive, maybe getting hit in the groin, it's going to give you some information. Maybe you find out that the person has tuberculosis or hepatitis. Maybe it's a hernia and someone doesn't want that information out. You've got some information here that's going to help you determine if this is confidential or not. And so, because under OSHA, certain people in your organization surely shouldn't have access to this. Just because they're a manager doesn't mean that they should have access. It might mean, Philip, that only you have access. So as an example, it might be determined that only you and Dawn, but your frontline managers don't get that information. And a lot of times they shouldn't, because they could tease, they could joke, even though you know how guys are, they can joke and fool around and horse around, but at the end of the day, that actually could be viewed as illegal. And so this information would be private when it goes on to certain forms. So we're going to put no here. We'll put in nature of injury, and we can kind of put just some information real quick, just so you see how this goes. Information of what happened right before the incident. So really what's happening here is we're actually helping you with your accident reporting, accident investigation as well. So we're just putting some information in. You'll notice that those aren't asterisk, but this is really helping you put together that accident investigation. And I would encourage both of you, even though it's a little bit more time, that you take the time to fill out the information here. And so we're going to be able to go down because we already have the facilities already in the system. You can put those in here. Was this treated in the emergency room? We'll say no. Was it admitted overnight? We'll say no. And we can add. If it's must be something that I'm missing. And so we'll go here, days away. We'll say skin disorder. We'll just say other recordable. And we're going to try to add, and hopefully I didn't miss anything else. And that would be added to your file. And the reason I'm trying to do this is that trying to show you at the very end, once we add it, that the first report of injury is going to be populated. Now, when this is all over, I'm actually going to delete this, and you're going to see very quickly, there's information. It's not going to let you go forward unless we completely fill all of this out. So it just is not letting me move forward unless I finish the report. So I think I should have everything now filled out. Yes, I do. And now it's going to put that in for my 300 incident. And you're going to see now when that's in there for Dawn, we're going to click on Dawn, the down arrow. And at the bottom, we now have that green button to add the first report of injury, like I mentioned before. And now that page is going to pop up, allowing you to put in just a little bit more information so that you can get that into the system. Now, once you do that, you're going to notice that the 301 incident log for Dawn is now going to be in the system. All of that information that we put in here is now going to be there for Dawn. Now, what I'm going to do is go back to your dashboard. I'm going to go to the main office up at the top, and that's going to give me, actually, I'm going to go to the dashboard. Sorry, I'm going to go to the dashboard, and then up top, it's going to have the option for summary reports. And now we're going to have the OSHA log for 2024 that I can choose by just going down that drop down box. Now I have one incident that is going to populate on that summary report. That's going to show Dawn. Now, if I had put here that it was a sensitive or private matter, that would actually not be populated, because this is one of those areas that, hey, you're going to take this OSHA summary report and you're going to share this with your managers. This is a talking point way that you guys get together on maybe a quarterly basis, maybe definitely once a year, that I would encourage. And you're going to go through each of the incidents just as a reminder, as part of your management training. But hey, again, if it's private or sensitive information, that's going to be blocked out. Now, when I go back to the summary report area, I'm also going to have the option here for the OSHA 300A summary. And I'm going to choose the 2024 year. And it's going to automatically populate. So if we were at the end of 2024, and now I'm required as of February 1st through April 30th to post that OSHA 300A summary, this is what is going to be generated. And all of that information is going to be populated. And we're going to make sure that over here, all of your information is being populated as well. And so that's kind of it in a nutshell. We would be able to run some statistics or stats for the year. And you can say, hey, we've only got one piece of data in here, and so we're not going to get much information, but it's really going to give you an incident rate, your DART rate, your severity rate, and lost time rate. These are all information that OSHA is going to look at when they come in. So we want you to have access to this, and then you can compare yourself to the other contractors in the roofing industry. So you can say, hey, are you actually excelling? Are you doing better? Because think about this, when you have more incidents, it could be the larger jobs you're not going to get access to because of your incident rate or your DART rate. Some of these big firms will not hire you if your DART or incident rate is at a certain point. They definitely won't hire you if your workers' comp experience mod is typically over a 1.0. So you have all of this data at your fingertips to help you determine how you train your employees based on incidents in the past and something that's maybe trending that you can kind of head off at the pass and maybe do more training or add a policy or procedure that can make that less likely to happen into the future. So again, let me know if you have not received that invite, and what I can then do once you have a chance to get around in the system, to look around, see how this works, maybe put some incidents in and get a feel for it. But I'm also willing to do another Zoom. We'll share each other's screen. I'll watch you go through it and kind of guide you based on the questions or issues that we might be having. Let me know. Thank you for your time, and I hope that you found this helpful. Thank you so much.